Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies.
All right, we're going to jump into some draft talk. I know everybody's been excited about some draft stuff, man. We're going to go through position by position. We're only kind of talking about the first round pick today. We're not going to get too specific on these players. I've watched some of them, not all of them. Hey, I'll let you know right now. Whoever's, commented the most in the comments is the guys I'll review some film on. And we'll just start with the defensive back position. We'll kind of go through, like I said, we're only doing first rounders for the most part. And I'm using NFL Draft Buzz. I don't really care about these rankings because I don't care about the rankings, but it'll give you a list of the top guys. Obviously got Cooper DeJean from Iowa, really good corner. Nate Wiggins, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Terrion Arnold. Those are probably your top guys coming out in the draft. At DB, the Saints won't take a corner in the first round. Obviously, it's been that, Marshawn Lattimore talk. If he gets traded, maybe they consider it. But with Alontae Taylor, the way Isaac Yiadom played this year, and obviously Paulson Adebo, I don't think cornerbacks are realistic, position that we'll take in the first round. So I won't cover the corners too much just because, like I said, I don't think it's realistic for the Saints to take a corner in the first round. Crazier things have happened, but that's just not realistic in my opinion. Next, we can move over to the linebacker position. Move over to the linebackers. Dallas Turner, more linebacker edge guy. Chris Braswell from Alabama. Edgerrin Cooper, Jeremiah Trotter. Those are some of the top guys. Once again, I think linebacker, you got Pete Warner, you got Demario Davis. Now, if it's the edge guy, that's a little different. Dallas Turner, I think he'll be great for the Saints. He doesn't fit their prototypical mold, but prototypical mold hasn't been working. Let's just be honest. Peyton Turner hasn't worked. Marcus Davenport hasn't worked. So the prototypical mold that the Saints usually get in the edge position just hasn't been working. You have Zach Bond, who played this year, was not the prototypical mold for the Saints, not the big guy, 6'4", 270, 280 type guy. And he was one of our best edge rushers this year, him and Carl Granderson. So maybe they go outside the box this year. I highly doubt it because everyone's still in place with Mickey Loomis, with Dennis Allen. So I highly doubt they go outside the box with the mold. But I do really, really like Dallas Turner off the edge. Now we'll just go to straight edge guys and not stand-up linebackers. You got Latu. I'm sure it's going to be a fan favorite out the gate. Latu's going to be one of the fan favorites. He looks really good. Has some injury concerns. 6'4", 260, so a little bigger than Dallas Turner. Really, really good. Really, really good player. Then you have Dallas Turner, probably another guy that's going to be a fan favorite. Then you have Jared Verse, another guy that's going to be a fan favorite. Now, obviously, this position is a position of need. This position, if the Saints draft in the first round, would be a good choice. At position-wise, I'm not sure on the player just yet, but as an edge rusher, as a defensive end, we need one of those. Pass rush, pathetic. Piss poor this year. And it's been for the last couple of years. Cam Jordan, we know it's over for him. I'm not going to say it's like over because he's old. So, actually, I am going to say it's over for Cam Jordan. Let's just be honest. There's no need to sugarcoat, no need to lie. Hey, one of the greatest players in franchise history, but it's over. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everything must come to an end. He can come in, help one of these guys, learn a position, get better. Only played 30, 40% of the snaps. Towards the end of the year, he was only playing 50% of the snaps. He's getting older. It happens. It's about time for him to retire. We need a guy to replace Cam Jordan. Thank you for everything you've done. I think since 2011, hey, it's been a good run, but it's over with. So those top three guys, if we had any one of those top three guys, I'll be happy with it. You got Braylon Trice from Washington. You got Chop Robinson and a couple more guys, going down that list. And if you're just looking at the weights and stuff like that, Latu kind of fits the mold. Verse will probably have to gain some weight to fit the mold. Trice fits the mold, of a prototypical Dennis Allen, the Saints, the guys they've been drafting at the edge. They're usually about 6'4", usually about 270. Basically, Trice. 6'4", 274. The Davenport, the Peyton Turner, the Cam Jordan mold. That's just what they like. Now, I'm not saying we should pick any of these players, but that's just the mold that the Saints like rolling with. And you can say it's been successful. You can say it's been unsuccessful, in my opinion, as of late. Not even in my opinion. It's just a fact. It hasn't been successful. So maybe they change it up. We'll see. But defensive end is definitely, they have to go after it. They just have to go as defensive end. And I think a first round pick as defensive end would be great. Now, we can go to the inside guys. I think this is the inside guy. It's just going to defensive line as a whole, actually. We've already talked about some of these guys. Jazon Newton, really, really like this guy. I think he may be one of the best defensive linemen, if not the best defensive lineman in the draft. Like, he really may be the best defensive lineman in the draft. More for defensive tackle, 6'2", 295. Will we do that? We just took Brian Bresee first round. We signed Nathan Shepard. We signed Kalen Saunders. Nathan Shepard didn't really show me a lot. Kalen Saunders was a good player for us. But if they draft another defensive tackle in the first round, It'll be interesting, man. You really don't want to spend 2 first-round picks back-to-back year on defensive tackles, but if they did, we still struggle to stop the run. Defensive line still didn't get enough pass rush. We need to shore up that defensive line. So if they did it, I wouldn't be upset. I'm not going to just come on and be like, oh, that's a terrible pick. It's just kind of weird to take 2 defensive tackles with a team that had to make the playoffs back-to-back years in the first round. But I really do like Newton. He's probably my favorite defensive lineman so far. You also got Brian Murphy II. Haven't talked about him. I think he's going to be a really good player. He's shooting up draft boards right now. So defensive tackle would be iffy for me, but if they did it, I'm not going to say I'll be super mad at it. It depends on the guy. If we get Newton, I wouldn't be mad at it. I'll tell you that right now. I've watched a little bit of them. I didn't super dive into any of these guys, man. It's still February. I know the draft is going to come up real quick, but I haven't really dove into it that much yet. But hey, if he's number 1 in the comments, I'll probably do like the top 3 guys and we'll go from there. Offensive line. Now, if we took anybody on the offensive line, I wouldn't be mad. Let's just get that out, put that out there right now. Offensive line has been sketched, and that's being nice. I mean, Trevor Penning, who the hell knows what's going to go on with him? Is he a part of the future? Is he part of the present? Is he a part of anything with the Saints? We don't know. We're going to have some new guys in there, maybe a change of scenery, new faces, not Doug Marrone anymore. Maybe that'll help Trevor Penning out. Cedar Ruiz had a surprise year, not this past season, but the year before that. Maybe Trevor Penning makes that leap. Maybe he makes that leap, but this offensive line class is really good. It's really good. If we take an offensive lineman, you will hear no complaints from me. Or maybe, because obviously we haven't been able to draft offensive lineman well as of late. So maybe you won't hear complaints from me. Maybe you will, but I won't complain about the pick. The pick won't be, a problem. It's probably the person that's going to be a problem if it's a problem. But you got Joe Alt, who's kind of the number 1 prospect on everybody's list. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce the Penn State guy's name. We can all read. I can't, obviously. Then you got the Oregon State. All these names, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce them. We see them. You got Latham from Alabama, Mims from Georgia, Morgan from Arizona. These guys, it's a lot of good guys. All of these guys I've kind of watched. They're mostly offensive tackles. Obviously with Ramczyk, future's looking dim. I don't know what's going on with that knee. Maybe we draft the offensive tackle. Maybe we draft the offensive guard. You had Ruiz out there. You got McCoy out there. Those 2 guys are obviously going to be there. If Ramczyk's healthy, he's going to be there. So you have your center, your right guard, and your right tackle. If all are healthy, that's what you have. Now that left side of the line is where it gets weird, where it gets tricky. You had Pete playing left tackle this year, who played surprisingly well. Can't get mad at Pete for what he did this year. Thrown out there left tackle, and I think he played well out there. So congrats for him. But then after that, I mean, what's going on out there? Obviously, Garcia can't be a future. Is Trevor Penning going to be an answer? Who knows? Maybe he can play guard this year. You can't count on James Hurst being in the future. He's already old. You just can't count on him being out there. Like, you have to stir up this left side of the offensive line. That's your blind side of your quarterback, and the left side is just piss poor, pathetic. You have to have a tackle. You have to have a guard over there, and we have neither, in my opinion, right now. We don't have a left side of the offensive line. We barely have a right side. Like, I'm already not even confident in Ramczyk's, health-wise, and Ruiz, I'm not super confident in. I think he took a step back this year. So, obviously, we're going to have to shore up this offensive line. If we take an offensive lineman in the first round, everybody just shut up and be happy. If he turns out to be great, great. If he ends up being bad, it was the right choice anyway, because we need offensive line help. Offensive line and defensive line help we need. You have to build through the trenches. You have to build through the trenches. All of these teams that are really good in the NFL, just look at the Super Bowl. Look at the Super Bowl matchups. Kansas City Chiefs offensive line. They built through it. They got rid of Tyreek, but they shored up their offensive line. Defensive line with Chris Jones and those guys. Really good. Look at the 49ers. Offensive line. Really good. Defensive line. Really good. You have to have the trenches to be a successful team in the NFL. You just have to. If you don't have good trenches, don't have a good front 5 on the offensive line, you don't have a good front 7 on the defense, you're just not going to be a successful team. Look at the Eagles. Look at the Lions. Look at any team that went far this year. Their trenches were good. You look at the Saints, trenches were piss poor. Let's be honest. Trenches were piss poor. Offensive line, defensive line, piss poor for the Saints this year. You have to do better. You have to do better. You have to just keep shooting in the draft, maybe change your philosophy up, obviously, if it's not working, or you keep doing the same thing and keep missing, then everybody's going to get fired, and that's it. It's going to make everybody happy anyway. But you have to stir up this offensive line. I don't care if it's free agency. I don't care if it's the draft, but you have to get younger, so it needs to be the draft. Even though Mickey Loomis said we're not old, even though we're the oldest team in the league, I just don't know how that works. Just don't know how that works. But offensive line, man, we get any one of these guys, I wouldn't be mad. Tight end. Now, I've seen some Brock Bowers, already slated to the Saints in the first round. And I love Brock Bowers. Love Brock Bowers. Since he was a freshman, I was like, hey, he's the one. He's the one. But if we take a tight end in the first round, just fire everyone. We have so many problems on this team. Only way it's acceptable to take a tight end first round is if, I don't know, somehow they just traded us Pat Mahomes and we shared up this offensive line and free agency, this defensive line, and somehow we're just looking great. Other than that, I love Brock Bowers, but you just can't take a tight end in the first round. I love him. Love Brock. I think he's going to be a top 10 tight end first day in the NFL. I wanted to say something crazy like top 5. He really might. He's that good. He's that good. The same impact Laporta had, he's going to have on whatever team he goes to this year. He's that good. He's a really, really good prospect, but it's no point of taking a tight end first round. I won't even cover the rest of these guys, and there's no slight to them. It's just the Saints take a tight end first round. You'll see a rant. Receiver. Now, I love this receiving class, and we're probably going to lose Mike Thomas, and I think it's a really, really good receiving class, one of the best in a long time. But like I said, who cares if you got good receivers, which I think we do. If you can't protect and can't get the ball downfield. Marvin Harrison Jr., think he's really, really good. Malik Neighbors, really, really good. Romeo Dunze, really, really good. Keon Comey, really, really good. Troy Franklin, really, really good. Brian Thomas Jr., really, really good. All of these guys are really good. I just don't think we could take one in the first round. Like, I would love a receiver. If we didn't miss on Trevor Penning, we didn't miss on some of these defensive line additions like Davenport and Peyton Turner, didn't miss on some of these guards, that we got, we could probably take a receiver this year. But we've missed on the trenches too much that we just keep having to shoot. We keep having to shoot at the trenches. So no, we can't have fun. We can't get a receiver. We can't do anything like that because we have to shore up our trenches. And you can call it a bad thing, a good thing, but we just have to do that. Because I would love to have any one of these guys in the top 6 right here. If you could just, Keon Coleman, I'm not super in love with. I think he's really good. But any one of these other guys, we closed our eyes, picked the name out of the hat, we took them first round, I would not be mad at any year. But this year, just don't think we could do it. Would love it. Because, man, Malik Neighbors, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, or Brian Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, and Chris Olave, it's a crazy young trio. Best trio in the league of young receivers. But, hey, we ain't got time to throw them the ball. Then what's the issue? Then for what? For what? Running backs. Now, obviously, going to have a new scheme here. And you got some really, really good running backs. Jonathan Brooks, Trey Branson, Blake Corum. I think all those guys are good running backs, but we take a running back first round. I'll go find Mickey Loomis myself. That's kind of like the tight end position. What are we doing? Why are we taking a running back? You got Alvin Kamara. You got Kendrick Miller. You got Jamal Williams. You got 3 backs. Like the running back room, we probably won't bring in anybody. We'll bring in some undrafted guys and things like that just because preseason, things like that. But the running back room is probably not changing next year. Not even probably. The running back room is just not changing next year. Like it's just not changing. You have the guys. Those guys need to be healthy. You got a new scheme. Hopefully new running concepts. Those guys, I have faith that they'll perform next year. So running back, that's just out of the question. And running back first round is just out of the question, just basically anyway. Especially for a team that's bad, in my opinion. I don't think you have a franchise changing. There's no CMC in the draft. There's no Saquon Barkley in the draft. It's not a guy like that where I'll be like, you have to get this guy first round, like Jahmyr Gibbs. I just don't think it's that in this draft. So taking a running back first round just would be idiotic. And last but not least, the most interesting thing you can do in the draft is the quarterbacks. Now, it's only 2 guys I'm sold on right now. 2 guys I'm sold on in the first round, in my opinion. Haven't really dove into these quarterbacks because I don't think the Saints would do it. But you got Caleb Williams. Take him in a heartbeat. I know he's catching a lot of flack and this and that. He shouldn't be the number 1 pick, all of this. Hey, if the Saints were to take him, you would hear no complaints from me. And also Jaden Daniels. I mean, come on. Heisman Trophy winner. Looked great at LSU this past season. Came back. Kind of had a Joe Burrow-esque senior year. Came back. Could have been a draft pick. Maybe 4th, 5th, 6th round if he came out his junior season. Came back that last year. Won the Heisman. Earned himself a first round draft pick. Probably top 10, top 5. If we took him, you're going to hear no complaints from me once again. No complaints at all. Do I think we'll do it? Probably not. You got Drake May. I haven't watched a lot of them. People say it's come Josh Allen-ish. I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of Drake May. Penix, I think he's good. I think he's okay. I wouldn't draft him in the first round. Bo Nix, it's no chance. I would jump. And him, J.J. McCarthy, no chance. Spencer Rattler, no chance. Michael Pratt, all these guys are not even first round picks after those couple. But if we took a quarterback, I would not be mad. Obviously, we're stuck with, I'm not going to say stuck. I'm going to be nice to Derek Carr. We're not stuck with Derek Carr, but we're stuck with Derek Carr next year. No matter what, Derek Carr's the quarterback next season. The way the money, the way the cap works, Derek Carr is going to be the quarterback next season. That's just how it is. good, bad, indifferent. He's going to be the quarterback next season. Now, either do you trust him? Do you not trust him? Do you think we could bring a quarterback in? But would you bring a quarterback in, under Dennis Allen if you don't think he's going to be the coach after the season? That's going to be the thing. Why would you bring in a quarterback under this staff, under this coaching, regime if you're going to change it the next year? If they're going to get fired, it's no point. And also, this team, whether we like it or not, it's built to win now. Is it really? No. But the way the cap set up, with his money set up, with all these older guys on the team, with DeMario, with Cam Jordan, with Derek Carr's contract, with all these guys and where these contracts are set up, Tyrann Mathieu, you have to win now. Like, it's set up to win now. Are we in position to win now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So taking a quarterback first round would just be kind of almost telling on yourself that, hey, we're not ready to win now. This season's going to be just kind of, hey, if we can do it, we can do it, make the playoffs. But if not. I think obviously the Saints' goals have changed. I think when Sean Payton was there, we was doing everything we can do to win. Win. Now it's kind of like, oh, we want to win, but if we don't, it just is what it is. I think that's kind of the role we're on right now. And the sad thing is the team's too good to be 3-win team, 2-win team, 4-win team. We're always going to win between 7 and 9 games. The team's it's just a good team. Now we just need something to get us over the edge. Drafting a quarterback obviously won't get you over the edge because they won't get to play. They'll get to sit a year, which is, I think, the best case scenario for rookie quarterbacks as to why the Packers have only had 3 quarterbacks in the last 50 years, seems like. With Brett Favre, you got Aaron Rodgers sit behind him. Then you got Jordan Love, who sat behind Aaron Rodgers, who looks really, really good in his first full season playing. Now, if you get a guy like Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Penix, whoever you want to draft, and they sat behind Derek Carr for a year or two, it may be the best thing for that quarterback when it's all said and done and it's time for him to play. Will the Saints do it? Absolutely not. If we did it, if we took Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, once again, you'll hear no complaints from me. We'll probably have to move up in the draft to get those guys and end up giving another first-round pick. That'll be a problem. We're not in position to be giving up first-round picks. That's the unfortunate part because we've missed on so many first-round picks. So we just can't really give up first-round picks anymore. And you might be bad. So you should not be giving up your first-round pick next year because this shit could go to shit. You have a young offensive coordinator who I think is going to be really, really good. But what if he's not? What if he's not? What if he's trash? What if we win 4 games and you gave up your first-round pick? Then you end up like the Panthers where they got to fire everybody because you gave up 2 first-round picks to get Bryce Young, and now you're picking again number 1 and you don't have that pick. You don't want to run into that situation. So it's going to be very, very interesting for the Saints what we do in the draft. Positions, I think we should take, like I said, we need to take offensive line, defensive line, edge. Like those are the 3 positions, the trenches we have to get. Quarterback's probably next on that list. Then wide receivers probably next. Cornerback, I think the end positions obviously is linebacker, then running back, and tight end. We just don't need those positions. But any of those other trenches. Hey, now y'all can drop some names in the comments. Who y'all want me to watch, man? I'll try to find some game film on some of these guys, watch some of these guys, see what it looks like. I've already watched some highlights on a couple, but highlights don't really give it justice. You kind of watch. Everybody's going to look good in highlights. If you're a first-round talent, you're going to look good on a highlight film. So we'll have to see how these guys look. But I'm very, very excited to dive into this. Super excited to dive into this draft stuff. And we'll get to some late guys, some sleepers, some guys I think that'll be good in the draft. Later this month, but it's about that time to get this draft stuff rolling. And let me know what y'all think in the comments below. As always, thank y'all for tuning in once again. It's the Boot Tragedies. I'm out.